Travis Wesley's Monday had started off like a cheap B-movie where the hero gets lucky, but then everything goes to hell by the credits. It was one of those warm anomalies in March, the kind that fools you into thinking spring's come early, and luck had been flirting with him all day at work. He'd left the office with a whistle on his lips and a strut in his step, like a cowboy walking out of a saloon after a winning hand. But as with any good story, that high was about to come crashing down hard. By the time he rolled up to his house, the air was thick with the stale stench of last night's Chinese takeout wrestling with the fresh tang of red wine. Inside, his wife Lauren was poised over a glass like she was auditioning for the role of a vineyard queen. That smirk on her lips? It was a little too sharp, like she was the cat that not only got the cream but had the mouse for dessert. Travis, not one to shake off the jitters easily, poured himself a stiff one from the monkey shoulder bottle and slumped into a chair, hoping to smooth out the creases of a suddenly wrinkled day. "What's cooking?" His attempt at nonchalance came out like a line flubbed on stage. Lauren took a sip, her gaze drilling into him with the precision of a sniper's scope. "Tell me, Travis, have I been a good wife? A good mother?" Her voice was like velvet, if velvet could cut. "Yeah, of course," Travis choked out, feeling about as smooth as gravel. "And you? Have you been a good husband? A good father?" She shot back, each word tipped with an icicle's sharpness. The room felt like it was closing in, the walls inching closer by the second. "I'd like to think so," he said, his grip white-knuckling the glass. Lauren's smile stayed put, but her eyes were throwing daggers. "Well, today I've decided I'm going out, with someone else." It was like a scene from a noir film where the guy gets gut-punched by the dame who's been playing him all along. "A date? With someone else?" His words crumbled around the edges. "Yes, Travis. Just a night out, nothing more," she replied, her calm eerie against the storm she just stirred. "I'm 47, Travis. My clock isn't going to keep ticking forever. I want a little adventure while it's still on the table." The whole thing was absurd, like finding a clown at a funeral. How could his day, which had started with him playing the role of the office hero, take such a twisted turn? "Darn," was all he could muster as Lauren vanished to doll up for her adventure. He sat there, the whiskey forgotten, the room spinning, and his world quietly shredding. Lauren made her descent, decked out in a black dress that screamed femme fatale, its neckline plunging into dangerous territory. Her hair, usually wild and untamed, was pulled back to showcase the kind of face that didn't need a paint job to turn heads. At the sight, Travis's heart didn't just sink, it plummeted. "I won't stand for this, Lauren," he declared, a doomed cowboy facing down a train. "I don't know what's gotten into you, but you're not doing this. Not while you're still my wife." Her smirk soured into a sneer. "You're not ruining tonight, Travis. You might act tough, but we both know you're not walking out over this. Where else you gonna find a woman like me? Nowhere. That's where. And the kids? They'll never forgive you for tearing us apart. Just suck it up, Travis. Let me have my fun for a few years. After that, it's just you and me getting old together. You still care, don't you? You don't want to end up alone while I'm out there still turning heads." As a car horn blared like a chorus of disapproval outside, Lauren grabbed her purse, strutted over, and leaned in for a farewell kiss. Travis recoiled, a mix of hurt and disbelief clouding his face. Lauren's expression flickered, surprise, then resolve. "I'll be back, just not sure when," she declared, striding out the door. Travis was left watching, heartbroken, as she walked away from their 23 years of script. She didn't look back, not once. It's a tough reality, but being attractive comes with advantages. More friends, more attention, and favorable judgments. Lauren understood this deeply. Since she blossomed at 13, a smile or a flutter of her eyelashes could easily capture boys' attention. For the more resistant ones, a simple change in posture would win them over. Her beauty was both a blessing and a tool, used with skillful accuracy. Travis had just about had it up to here with fresh starts, but this one was a doozy. New city, new school, new freaking zip code. But then, like a scene straight out of a dime store romance, along comes Lauren, swanning into his 8th grade life with the kind of swagger that should be illegal before high school. The kid was hooked, line, sinker, the whole deal. Now Travis? He wasn't some slouch in the popularity stakes himself. He could throw a ball, crack a joke, and charm the socks off just about anyone. By the time high school rolled around, he mustered up enough nerve to pitch his heart out to Lauren. And what do you know? She swung at it. They were the talk of the town, those two. until junior year rolled around and knocked Travis off his high horse. Lauren ditched him for Landon Estes Jr., big man on campus, quarterback with a cannon for an arm, and a smirk that could sell ice to Eskimos. Travis was gutted, not gonna lie, but the kid accepted it, tucked his bruised ego away, and moved on. After all, he was no football hero, just a regular Joe, another face in the crowd. Flash forward to senior year, and wouldn't you know, our boy Travis shot up like a weed, packed on some muscle, and started turning heads. But Lauren? Still out of his league, and he knew it. Didn't matter, though. He had his own thing going by then, including a date to prom that made him forget he ever had a thing for prom queens. Cut to college years. Travis hit the books at Michigan State, keeping his love life casual. No big commitments. Meanwhile, Lauren was living it up at Central Michigan, playing the field, including a scandalous fling with a marketing professor, classic Lauren, always playing to win. Life, as it tends to do, threw them back together in Grand Rapids. Travis, now a numbers guy with a steady gig, was knocking back a few with his office buddies at a local hotspot when in walks Lauren, still turning heads, still in command of every room she graces. Travis caught her eye for a split second, maybe more out of habit than anything else. And there she was, the same old Lauren, not even blinking an eye at the gawking crowd. Times change, people change, but some things, like the allure of Lauren in a knockout green dress, they just stay the same. "Who's that stunning woman?" Steve White croaked to the whole table of coworkers. Without a moment to think, Travis instinctively responded, "Ladies and gentlemen, meet Lauren, the goddess, and my 8th grade girlfriend." Every head at the table turned to Travis, many with mouths agape. "Have you two met before?" one of them asked incredulously. Travis winced. He hated being the center of attention, any attention. "We were about 14 when we started high school. She paid me no mind for all 4 years," he murmured. "So, got any good stories about hitting on the ladies here?" joked a team member. The whole group burst into laughter. Lauren and her friends exchanged glances. She thought she recognized one of the men at the table, but wasn't sure. They settled at a nearby table with Lauren facing the one where the familiar man sat. "Dude, aren't you going to go say hi?" White teased. "Man, you're practically drooling." "Not very impressive," remarked the first coworker, Casey Jello. "She acted like she didn't know me for 4 years." "I don't see why she'd remember me now," Travis shrugged. Several heads nodded in agreement. Lauren continued observing the man enjoying his meal, then she snapped her fingers and pointed at him. "That's not a good idea, Lauren," cautioned one of her friends. "Pointing at someone in a restaurant can lead to trouble." Ignoring her friend's warning in part, Lauren declared, "I'll be right back. I need to greet an old friend." She practically leaped out of her chair and walked over to Travis's table. "Trav, hey there, so great to see you," Lauren exclaimed, approaching him. Travis glanced at his friends, then turned to his former classmate with a forced smile. "Lauren, nice to see you," Travis said with little emotion, getting up from his seat. Lauren invaded Travis's personal space, kissing him softly on the lips and placing her hands on his shoulders. His colleagues were shocked. Travis was stunned too. Lauren noticed and flashed him a somewhat mischievous smile. She felt comfortable playing this game, knowing he couldn't resist. "Let's go to our table. I'll introduce you to the girls," she said, grabbing his hand and pulling him along. He spent most of the evening with Lauren and her friends. Before leaving, Lauren took his phone, entered her number, and wrote down his for herself. Lauren found it intriguing that Travis seemed unfazed by her. This was a first for her. He was polite at the restaurant, but spent as much time chatting with her friends as with her. Despite her kisses, he never responded. On Monday morning, Travis's co-workers at the bar questioned him about his connection with the woman they referred to as a goddess. They were surprised when he admitted to staying at the bar for about an hour before going home. "She's impressive, but way out of my league," he muttered. "I get it. I don't need this kind of trouble." 2 days later, as Travis left work, he encountered distress in the parking lot when he noticed her waiting by his car. Though he had to admit she looked stunning in a tight dress, he grumbled to himself. "Why didn't you call, Trav?" she asked quietly as he approached. Trav did his best to appear casual, though he couldn't help but notice how elegantly Lauren was dressed. She wore a tasteful summer dress that flowed gently around her knees. "I've been swamped at work," he admitted, managing a smile. Lauren nodded and then, with a warm smile, stepped forward to give him a gentle hug. "I missed you," she said softly, planting a friendly kiss on his cheek. Trav could only mutter a quiet, "Me too," as he reciprocated the hug, feeling a bit overwhelmed by her affection. They decided to catch up over lunch and headed to a quaint little restaurant away from the hustle of the city center. The meal was delightful, and Lauren occasionally adjusted her dress, laughing at her own fussiness. Both Travis and the friendly waitress shared a few laughs at some of Lauren's witty comments, creating a lighthearted atmosphere. Travis found himself genuinely enjoying Lauren's company, reminded of her charm and wit. "Oh my God," he whispered to himself, truly seeing Lauren for the charming person she was, not just the image he had built up in his mind. If this was his only chance to give his all, he needed to ensure that he wouldn't let lust override his emotions and miss his opportunity to surf. After satisfying their desires, they lay facing each other, locking eyes. Lauren grinned suggestively. "It seems I made a big mistake years ago," she whispered. "You're quite remarkable. Who would have guessed?" "If only I had realized it sooner. We've wasted several years, Trav." Lauren recognized what was happening right in front of her. Though Travis didn't match her in looks, he was still attractive, in shape, and appeared to have a promising career ahead. "He's also skilled in bed," she mused, though she kept her thoughts to herself. Despite Travis's doubts about her, mainly stemming from his self-esteem, their relationship gradually improved. While her beauty was evident, Travis slowly fell for the person Lauren was. "I got an engagement ring, but before proposing, let's sit down and talk about our views on fidelity," he suggested, wanting to ensure no secrets remained between them. "I'm not interested in your past details. What's done is done. But I need clarity about our future. I want us to be fully committed. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you're not willing to commit to us, I need to know now." He placed a small black box on the table between them. Lauren gazed directly into Travis's eyes, then shifted her attention back to the box. "I'll never cheat on my husband. Never," Travis recalled her words. Apparently, his wife didn't see it as cheating since she gave him a warning beforehand. He knew that wasn't true. She expected, hoped he'd see it her way, but if he didn't truly accept it. Travis knew Lauren had plenty of chances to cheat over the years, but as far as he could tell, she turned them all down, like a faithful wife should. She was a perfect 10, heck, maybe even a 12, while he considered himself a 6 at best. This left ample opportunity for someone more physically compatible to sneak into their lives. Assuming she hadn't had an affair he didn't know about, she had been a true wife for 23 years. Travis knew he should appreciate those years, but he didn't. When he said "I love you," he meant forever, not just an impressive 23 years. In fact, hardly a week passed without Lauren getting hit on, not just by men. She knew she wasn't just beautiful. She was stunning, a rare gem among ordinary beauties. When God made his wife, he must have had an exceptional day, Travis would often remark. Initially, Lauren would inform Travis whenever she was hit on, striving for full transparency. However, after a few years, Travis told her he trusted her enough that she didn't need to disclose everything. The only time he wanted to know if she was being harassed was if the person didn't accept her first refusal. Then, he'd intervene. Conversely, Travis was seldom approached by women. Part of the reason why Travis didn't get approached by women was because he wore his wedding ring like a shield. Within moments of meeting someone new, he'd enthusiastically talk about his wife and kids, which usually dampened any potential romantic interest. He didn't even realize he was doing it, and most women lost interest before any flirting could begin. Lauren remained oblivious to how her husband's actions were deterring potential suitors, or worse. Their almost storybook marriage lasted 22 years until Rosa Esposito entered the picture, joining the same public relations firm as Lauren. Described by Bob CD as a dark-haired beauty with captivating brown eyes and a curvaceous figure, Rosa was like a magnet attracting men. In any other workplace, she would have been the alpha female, but at Super Solutions, she played second fiddle to the most desirable woman in the office. At 42 years old, Rosa had been married for 15 years, but she openly admitted she wasn't a fan of it. She had multiple affairs, some known to her husband and others kept secret, often regaling Lauren with tales of her exploits. With her captivating storytelling, Rosa made her intimate encounters sound nothing short of incredible. "So, you've never considered anyone else since tying the knot? You're just a loyal wife? But I doubt you're not interested," Rose remarked one day during a coffee break at work. "Well, I'm not denying I'm curious, but I'd never betray Travis," Lauren replied. Lately, Lauren noticed she wasn't getting as much attention from men in bars and restaurants as before. She began doubting her ability to attract, let alone entertain, the what-if scenario, as she observed younger women receiving the attention once directed at her. "What if your husband gave you the green light? What then?" Rose inquired. Lauren's expression revealed she had never pondered this possibility before. Her mind raced with possibilities. I suppose if I had his blessing, it'd be a whole different ballgame, Lauren confessed with a mischievous grin. Have you ever thought about asking him? Rose probed. You know, anything worth having is worth asking for. Lauren had never considered this. Her face flickered with excitement, then faded. He'd never agree, Lauren asserted. Never? Rose questioned. Should I do all the work for you? Rose challenged. Suggest it, imply permission, and then take what you want regardless of his response. Convince him that he loves you enough to allow it, that it won't affect your love for him, Rose advised. Travis woke up to the sound of a car pulling into the driveway. Checking his watch, he realized it was a little past 3 in the morning. Glancing at the half-empty bottle of Woodford Reserve, he noted his consumption. Late night, he quipped as Lauren entered through the front door. Travis scrutinized the disheveled appearance his wife now wore. Her hair was tousled, makeup absent, clothes wrinkled. She didn't seem remorseful, but rather smug. Likewise, she retorted sharply. You didn't have to wait up. I'm hitting the hay, and perhaps you should too, but never again by my side, he retorted. Lauren shot him a disgusted look and ascended the stairs. Refilling his glass with bourbon, Travis resumed watching ESPN, spending the night in his recliner, stomach growling. Around 9, he roused himself to prepare breakfast. While eating, he heard the shower start upstairs. Normally, he might have anticipated his wife descending in a robe, hair wrapped in a towel. However, she didn't emerge for nearly an hour, and when she did, she appeared immaculate, as always. It was no less than expected. Did you save any breakfast for me? She inquired. I brewed a pot of coffee, but you'll have to fend for yourself on food. Since you're all dolled up at home, I think it's time we had a chat, he stated firmly. Lauren was taken aback by Travis's lack of emotion. She had anticipated him to react irrationally, making him easier to manipulate. Rational Travis, she thought to herself, would complicate the conversation. Aren't you curious about last night? She asked softly, sensing a hint of superiority in her tone. Does she really think I want to hear about being betrayed? Travis murmured quietly. Hardly, Travis replied, matching her volume. I want to understand where you see our marriage heading. As I mentioned yesterday, I plan to explore intimacy with other men over the next few years. It's not about love. I only love you, but I want to experience something new while I still have my looks. I've devoted myself to you for 23 years without a thought of betrayal. I crave the excitement of the unknown. We'll still have our life together, and I'll be grateful for the experience and cherish you exclusively for the rest of our days, Lauren explained. Travis listened intently as Lauren spoke while fixing his breakfast. He found her calm demeanor while discussing such pivotal matters unsettling. He had numerous questions. Is this all because you desire variety? Am I not sufficient for you? He inquired, his voice trembling. Before she could respond, he continued. So you want an open marriage for a while and then return to monogamy eventually? Does that mean I can see other people too? Lauren struggled to contain her amusement. The notion of her reserved husband asking another woman out was comical. Travis was the most committed to marriage of any man she knew. However, if this was what it took for him to agree in principle, then yes, she affirmed. Assuming it's just about intimacy for you too, Travis raised his eyebrows and shrugged, a gesture Lauren couldn't quite decipher, but she had a suspicion. So, how about a date with Rose? She's a great woman from my office. I'm sure she'd be up for it, Lauren suggested, knowing her friend wouldn't mind spending a night with her husband, especially if it helped Lauren achieve her goal of intimacy with other men while staying married. Travis looked puzzled. The part of him that once craved excitement as a 21-year-old bachelor was tempted by Rose, but the responsible 47-year-old husband knew better. I'd enjoy a date with Rose, but no, babe, thanks. That'd make me just as much a cheater as you were last night, he declined. Lauren's smile faded into an angry grimace. I'm not a cheater, she protested. Well, if you say so, babe, Travis replied, more serious than she expected. But I still don't agree. Get real, babe, because I'll do it regardless, she retorted. On Monday morning, around 11 o'clock, Rose entered Lauren's office to find her visibly upset. To hell with that prude and his high horse, Lauren muttered, closing the door behind Rose. He even turned down a date with you, Rose frowned. I didn't know I was on the table, but forget it. How could he resist this? Lauren said, gesturing to herself. How was your date? Did Travis ruin it? Rose asked. The date was amazing. Jonas really knows how to please a woman, Lauren admitted. God, it's been ages since I felt another man. I definitely enjoy the change. Who do you think I should try next? They both burst into laughter. Lauren felt relieved that she hadn't received divorce papers right away. With minimal interaction between them, she decided it was best not to inquire about his intentions. Although Travis hadn't confided in his wife, he wasn't eager for a divorce. He hoped she'd wise up and abandon her foolish plan to cheat on him. He believed they could move past it if she stopped. His optimism grew when Lauren didn't go on another date the next week, but they still weren't reconnecting. However, the following Friday, Lauren was dressed to impress again, seemingly prepared for a date. "Are you seriously doing this again with the same guy or someone else?" Travis asked sharply. "Come on, Trav, didn't you hear me? It's not about you. It's about me wanting to experience something before I'm too old to attract anyone. It's not that I want you any less. I just want more. Different. People are always hitting on me. I just want to enjoy it. I'll always come back to you," she explained. "What if I don't want you to come back?" "I won't share you," Travis retorted. "I won't stand by while you have fun. I can't handle it. I won't sit around while you try out half the guys in our city. One date I could maybe handle, but two is too much. Staying out all night, partying, it's over. That's not why I'm here," he declared, his voice shaking. "Oh, you don't want to lose me," she mocked, wiggling her fingers as if talking. "It doesn't have to be all or nothing," he reasoned. Last week, Travis instructed his lawyer to prepare the necessary paperwork, hoping he wouldn't need them. He planned to call his wife Monday morning, but first, he had to break the news to his daughters. Neither 21-year-old Jackie nor 19-year-old Michelle fully believed their father when he called them that evening, at least not outwardly. But after speaking with both, he realized that his eldest daughter might have sensed that something was amiss. "So you knew she was going to do this, and you didn't tell me," he yelled into the phone. "You don't think I deserve to know what was coming? Please, Daddy, I was in a tough spot. No matter what I did, one of you would have been upset with me. Besides, it's her body, not yours. If she wants to share it, stop, don't continue," Travis yelled back. "I get that she put you in a tough spot, but don't tell me she can do whatever she wants because it's her body. We made vows, and that trumps talk about her body," he added. "I understand, but," she started, then trailed off. "Damn it, baby, I'm sorry, Dad," she whispered. When Warren walked in the door at 2 in the morning, Travis was nowhere to be seen. Even though she arrived an hour earlier than her previous date, she looked a bit more disheveled. Gabriel Esposito was a large, muscular man, perhaps the strongest Lauren had ever been with. By the end of the night, she could hardly move. She knew she'd likely have a few bruises from his grip by tomorrow. Overall, it was a great night, she thought. She could enjoy Gabriel again sometime. Lauren felt shocked and embarrassed when she received divorce papers at her office on Monday morning. She burst into tears and hurried to the ladies' room. A few minutes later, Rose appeared upon hearing the commotion. "You should have expected he'd at least deliver the papers," Rose remarked. "Did he really hurt you, baby? This is his way of striking back, tit for tat. Men can be so immature. He's trying to push you into something. He won't let go of 23 years of marriage and half his possessions. Give him some time alone and he'll come back begging," she consoled. Pulling herself together, Lauren returned to her desk, grabbed her phone, and immediately called her husband. "How could you do this to me at the office, in front of everyone? I know you're hurting, but I deserve better, Trav," she yelled into the phone. "After 23 years, don't I deserve more than you unilaterally deciding to open up our marriage? If I'm not right for you, couldn't you have told me beforehand and we could have parted ways like civilized people? I don't want civility. I don't want a divorce. I still love you. You still love me," she pleaded. "I still love you, but every time you spend a night with someone else, that love fades," he retorted. "My love isn't limitless like yours. I always thought that was clear. Who knows? Maybe we were both mistaken." Lauren pursued divorce, and her lawyer arranged marriage counseling, despite Travis's strong opposition. As they entered the consultant's office, they found Lillian Kamak seated at the desk. "Research on marriage counselors indicates most aim to reconcile divorcing couples with a bias toward women," the consultant stated. "Let's correct misunderstandings. Mrs. Wesley, did you truly inform your husband about your intention to date other men for a few years?" Travis concealed his smirk while Lauren struggled to hide her shock, realizing she lacked a convincing lie. "Yes, I did," she replied softly. "That's my desire. It won't impact our marriage." "I believe we can conclude here," the consultant declared. "Apologies for the inconvenience, Mrs. Wesley. I'll inform the judge and conclude this charade." But, Lauren stuttered. "Honey, if you thought for a moment that your actions would sway me, you were mistaken. You should feel ashamed, but it seems you lack any sense of remorse. Miss Kamiko stated firmly. During the following month, Lauren repeatedly called and texted Travis every day while he stayed in a small apartment nearby. Despite her efforts, he ignored all her attempts at communication. Desperate, she sought help from their daughters, who also reached out to him. "Dad, you still love her, don't you? If she stopped seeing other men, would you give her another chance?" Michelle asked during one of these conversations. "So, she's still doing this even after I served her?" Travis asked with a shaky voice, met only with silence. That silence spoke volumes, and Michelle didn't call again or urge him to reconsider. Travis was surprised by how quickly news of his impending divorce spread, particularly among single women. Colleagues and mutual friends offered condolences, some more sincerely than others. Connie Mann, a longtime friend of Lauren's, called to express sympathy for Travis's situation, hinting at more than just a listening ear. Travis was surprised when his wife's close friend Connie began openly flirting with him. Despite knowing her for years, she had never shown any interest in him before. "I would never pursue a friend's husband. It's just not right," she assured him. "But now that you're single, things are different. I want you to know I'm interested." Surprised? "I'm flattered, Connie, but I'm not officially single yet. I won't date until the divorce is final. I may be old-fashioned, but I won't cheat," Travis replied. "You're such a gentleman, Trav. That's one of the things I admire about you. Can you at least set me up on a date once you're free?" Connie asked. "Of course," Travis agreed. "But I don't want to jeopardize your friendship with Lauren. You two have been close for years." "I appreciate your concern, but just because it's complicated doesn't mean I should miss out on a chance with a good person. I wouldn't hesitate if you were a stranger," Connie explained. "Maybe I'll give you a call once I'm off the market," Travis joked. Connie, an attractive Asian woman with a fit physique and long black hair, caught Travis off guard with her interest in him. He couldn't deny his surprise at her sudden advances. Travis kept his promise and phoned Connie on the day his divorce was finalized. They went to a restaurant and then to a local jazz club on Saturday evening. Connie noticed Travis seemed uncomfortable and mentioned it. "I feel like a clueless 15-year-old, he admitted. "I haven't been on a date with another woman in over 26 years. "Don't tell me you're still using the same protection in your wallet from your last date before Lauren," she teased. "Dang, I didn't even think about that." "Well, we're both newbies," Travis chuckled. At the end of the evening, Connie tenderly kissed Travis on the lips. They both felt positive about the date, and he promised to call again. Travis hadn't thought much about removing his wedding ring on the day of his divorce, but it seemed to be a big deal to unmarried women. Several female coworkers noticed the absence of his ring and commented on it, leading to a noticeable increase in flirting in his office. This was a new experience for him, and one day during lunch, he discussed it with his best friend at the office. "There are so many attractive women in this office. How did I not notice this before?" Travis wondered. "You, my friend, were completely besotted," replied Robert Ardito. "You were so deeply in love with her that you didn't even consider other women as potential partners. She's stunning, no doubt, but you let her hold all the cards, and maybe that was part of the issue. She's always been in control, which has its appeal, and you were so devoted. Your vibe was so loyal that not a single woman even glanced your way in the first month after the divorce." In the initial month post-divorce, Travis went on 4 dates, 2 with Connie. He hadn't managed to sleep with any of the 3 women he dated, but that wasn't his aim. By the second month, he was just as sought after and slept with 2 women. Travis's daughters, who had been in touch with their mother more than their father lately, heard her constantly claim that she could have any man with a snap of her fingers. Their dad, an average man in his 40s, struggled to find a partner, let alone a steady girlfriend. They started feeling sorry for him. About 2 months after the divorce, they surprised him at his apartment on a Saturday morning. Travis was displeased at being woken up at 8:36, especially after entertaining his companion late into the night before. Sonia, a busty 25-year-old, was the daughter of a friend who needed a reliable gentleman for her wedding celebration. The evening went so well that they ended up at Travis's apartment. At that moment, she was in his bed when he opened the door wearing a robe. "What?" he asked, throwing open the door and seeing his daughter's smiling faces holding bags of bagels, smoked salmon, and cream cheese. "Hey, Dad, can your 2 favorite daughters join you for breakfast?" Jackie said as they entered. Travis kissed them both on the cheek and led them to the kitchen table where they emptied the bags they had brought. They were just stashing away the bagels when Sonia emerged from the bedroom wearing one of Travis's white shirts, half-buttoned and probably nothing else. "I'm sorry, I didn't realize you had guests coming, hon," Sonia said. Your mom mentioned you set your own schedule. No worries, Sonia. These are my daughters, Jackie and Michelle, he replied, indicating each with their respective names. We were just having breakfast, bagels with salmon. Sonia chuckled, causing her ample chest to jiggle beneath her shirt. She lightly brushed her thigh against Travis's arm and settled into the chair beside him. The four of them engaged in casual conversation for a while until Jackie inquired if Travis had spoken to Lauren lately. It was the first time he frowned in days. Until then, he thought it nearly impossible to feel upset when around Sonia, though she did push the limits for his 48-year-old body. Dad, honestly, we thought you'd be happier without Mom around, Michelle chimed in. We know she misses you, but we expected her to move on while you were gone. I understand I was her support, but she was with others too. In our old bed at one point, Dad, Jackie blurted out, prompting giggles from Sonia and a disapproving frown from Michelle. She's not a prisoner, you know. Seriously, think about it. How many guys has she been with since we split? And those are just the ones we know about. Both girls blushed and lowered their heads. Wow, if it's 2 guys a month for, what, 10 months? That's 20 different guys. And for me, with 3 guys a month, that's 30, Sonia remarked. If glares could kill, Travis's daughters would have had Sonia in her grave in seconds. She was keenly aware of this. Hey, don't put it on me if someone can't keep their legs closed, Sonia remarked. Kids, let's not spoil my nice weekend, Travis intervened. Sorry, all 3 young women chimed in simultaneously. So, are you 2 together? Jackie asked Sonia in a hushed tone. You don't seem older than me. Your dad said we're the same age. But don't worry, I'm never going to be your stepmom. We're just pals. He's awesome. He was my date at the wedding reception last night, and he's kind of a stud. Did I mention he's really great? Sonia explained. Well, we gotta admit he's pretty great, even though we know he can be a bit of a pain sometimes, Jackie admitted. And yeah, he's not bad looking for a guy old enough to be your dad. This made Sonia blush, and Travis too. Hey, hun, remember we have lunch with the newlyweds' families at the hotel at noon? I gotta shower and grab some clothes from my place before we head out, Sonia reminded. Both daughters exchanged knowing looks as they discussed their father over lunch. Mom, she's the same age as me, Jackie mentioned to her mother, indicating that this wasn't a one-time occurrence. They seemed to spend a lot of time together, enjoying each other's company. I don't think he'll come crawling back to you anytime soon, Mom. No, you just caught him on a lucky day. Maybe he was just helping a friend's kid out and got lucky. She's probably just an easygoing girl who's into anyone. Your dad's a good guy, but he's not some stud. Jackie raised an eyebrow at her mother. You used to seem content with him until you dropped the bombshell about leaving him. Why didn't you just cheat on him without saying anything? Wouldn't that have been easier? You could have your cake and eat it too, Jackie suggested. That would have been cheating, Jackie. And if he found out, we'd be done. By telling him, I didn't cheat, and I was sure he'd give me what I wanted once he realized what he was losing. I never expected a divorce. I never thought he'd have the guts to do it, Mom. Maybe you still love out of weakness, thinking everything depends on you, Lauren reflected. Was it all worth it? For the first time, Lauren's face betrayed the stress she endured from Rose's words. It sounded better than it turned out. I couldn't tell her that the grass wasn't greener, but no, it wasn't worth it. I never thought Travis would move on. I was so self-absorbed, thinking he'd just pine for his beautiful ex-wife. Instead, he's out there dating like a single guy in his 20s, getting more attention than he deserves, Lauren admitted. After the divorce, he dated several women, even my old friend Connie, and now some young girl who's the same age as our eldest daughter. Instead of moping at home, he's out there living it up like a single guy in his 20s, getting more attention than he deserves, Lauren lamented. When I found out Connie was dating him, I didn't say anything, thinking it was just a pity date, but the second date was unnecessary. I told Connie in private, I thought we were friends, Connie. You should be on my side. We girls have to stick together. But Travis didn't do anything wrong to you, Lauren. He's a good guy. Great even. He's everything I want in a man. Why wouldn't I date him? Women are lining up for a chance to go out with him. He's a prime catch, and he's great in bed, too. I'd go on a date with him anytime he asked. How could you push such a great guy away? Lauren stared at her friend in shock, her mouth agape. She was just starting to realize the enormity of her mistake. She missed Travis terribly and despised returning to an empty home every day, dreading sleeping alone at night. Meanwhile, Travis couldn't have predicted how his life would take such an exciting turn. He would have been content with his old mundane life, but aside from that, he was enjoying life quite well. Work was fulfilling and his social life was vibrant. He found pleasure in the company of various women, both in and out of bed. While he wasn't actively seeking a long-term relationship, he relished the variety. To Travis, there was more to life than just being married to a beautiful woman. Marla Goodling, sporting shoulder-length silver hair with streaks of purple tied back in a ponytail, emerged from the back of her Chicago Go Cubs baseball cap. Her blue Cubs t-shirt accentuated her ample chest, and her light blue Levi's hugged her figure. Despite being 60 years old, she drew more than her fair share of admiring glances in the left field bleachers at Wrigley Field. Among those glancing her way was Travis Wesley, the ex-husband of one of her longtime employees, Lauren Wesley. Travis and Marla attended a Cubs game during a weekend trip to Chicago. Marla had worked with Lauren Wesley for over 15 years. I've met Travis at several corporate events where he accompanied his then-wife, and I always thought he was handsome and pleasant, she reflected. She knew that Lauren had divorced about 2 years ago, and Marla herself had been a widow for about 5 years, her longtime husband having passed away in a car accident. During that time, she had been on only one date before deciding to reach out to Travis. Travis remembered her, finding it hard to forget a woman who exuded both style and beauty. He eagerly accepted her invitation to dinner. This occurred several months prior to the present moment. Their first date took place at an upscale restaurant, followed by a concert at the Philharmonic, with Marla providing the tickets. The evening concluded with a kiss at her front door. The second date was a Saturday hike on the trail, and the woman giggled several times as Travis, clearly tired, had to take short breaks during the day. It seems she and her late husband were enthusiastic climbers and hikers, and although Travis thought he was in good shape, he was mistaken. He also discovered that Marla had a toned body for an older woman and captivating gray eyes. The date concluded with Marla and Travis sharing tender moments on the rug in her living room after a passionate makeout session on the sofa. Her blend of affluent class and girl-next-door charm intrigued him. Marla gladly agreed when Travis suggested spending the weekend sightseeing in Chicago as part of their third date. On their first date, Marla informed Travis that she had no intention of informing Lauren about their dating status. If asked, she wouldn't deny it, but she wasn't going to broadcast it either. Marla also mentioned to Travis that Lauren had informed her colleagues that she and Travis were divorcing due to irreconcilable differences. Travis shared with Marla the same story he had told others. Lauren had cheated on him with at least 2 men, without providing further details. In the 2 years since his divorce, Travis had developed several strong relationships and enjoyed what he deemed an amazing intimate life. All his partners held him in high regard, and some hoped to be considered when Travis decided to trust women again and marry. Lauren, on the other hand, took a different approach. As she had told her then-husband before their first date, she was simply seeking satisfaction while still attractive enough to catch almost any man's eye. She wasn't seeking an emotional connection like most of her partners. This significant difference between the two former partners posed a problem for Jackie. She and her mother were deeply involved in preparations for the upcoming wedding, which her father was happily financing, when Warren suggested to his daughter that both parents should attend the wedding solo to minimize tension. Jackie promptly agreed and relayed the idea to her father during their lunch chat that same week. "Is this brilliant idea yours or your mother's?" Travis inquired. "I intend to bring a companion. I'm footing the bill for this affair, and I plan to enjoy it with the person I choose." "Heck, I've been taking dance lessons for about a year now, ever since your engagement was announced." "Are you seriously taking dance lessons just for my wedding?" Jackie asked. "That's adorable, but no, Jackie. She doesn't seem to have anyone close enough to invite, so she's attempting to pressure me. Once again acting selfishly and trying to manipulate the situation in her favor. Sorry, baby. But I won't be attending my daughter's wedding without a date. If you're not brave enough to tell her yourself, then I certainly will. She can attend alone or with a companion. That's her decision," Travis declared. "I'll bring my companion," Travis affirmed. "Understood. Loud and clear. I'll inform her. Your point is valid, and I'm genuinely excited to see you dance. But could you bring someone older than me, though?" "I can manage that, baby, but you really ought to see how Sonia and I dance," Travis grinned broadly, earning an equally wide smile in return. Travis escorted Connie to the wedding. He thought she looked fantastic in the sea green dress he bought and paid for. They argued about it because he insisted on purchasing the dress. Travis explained to Connie that as the father of the bride, he would be wearing a tuxedo, so she needed a new dress, which he would be delighted to buy. And yes, I realize it also requires shoes, he added with a wide smile. Walking his oldest daughter down the aisle was one of Travis's most memorable yet challenging experiences. Reflecting on the words of other fathers who had forewarned him, he acknowledged their accuracy. Nonetheless, it was a fantastic day. He, Connie, and his children enjoyed themselves, dancing until the late hours. The only disruption occurred when his ex-wife arrived with her own companion. Although Travis was unfazed, the man spent much of the wedding's initial phase smirking at him. Later, he behaved boorishly, leering at and groping multiple women like a drunken lout, prompting Jackie to request her mother to remove the guest. Lauren, visibly embarrassed, apologized profusely and promptly escorted the man out before departing with her date. Even so, Lauren found time to confront Connie in the women's restroom. "You're the one who stole my man!" she accused Connie. "I'm sorry, but I've never stolen anyone's man," Connie retorted. "He divorced you before we began dating. You're responsible for your own divorce. You let go of a wonderful man for fleeting pleasures." Lauren's face flushed with anger. Her previously intense gaze softened. She bowed her head, silent as Connie exited. Connie chose not to mention the incident to Travis or the family, not wanting to mar their special day. A few months after the wedding, Michelle paid her father a visit, appearing restless. Travis observed her for a moment before asking, "All right, Mitch, what's on your mind? You seem somewhat uneasy tonight." Michelle blushed deeply and started to stutter, signaling to Travis that something was amiss. "Dad, Mom talks about getting back together with you sometimes," she began. "About how she'll win you over once she stops dating other guys." "Did you and she, have a fling or anything?" she cautiously inquired. "My personal life isn't your concern, young lady," Travis snapped. "But no, I didn't sleep with your mother. And?" Michelle hesitated before revealing, "Well, the thing is, she has a venereal disease, Dad. I overheard her conversation with her friend Rosa, and she mentioned having syphilis," Michelle confessed quietly, avoiding eye contact with her father. Travis's expression shifted from surprise to sadness as Michelle observed him from the corner of her eye. "I suppose you're telling me this because you're worried about me," Travis acknowledged. "But it's standard procedure to inform all potential partners about the disease. I wasn't aware of that. I appreciate your concern, though, honey," he reassured her. "I understand that Mom's actions concern you. Some of my friends warned me that she's quite promiscuous. It's always awkward when friends tell you your mom isn't perfect." A few days later, Travis received a troubling call from Mara. It became apparent that she shared Michelle's concerns, likely also worried about her own health. "If you're wondering if I slept with my ex, the answer is a resounding no," Travis assured her. "Believe me, Mara, I understand your worry, but I can't control my ex's behavior. It's unfortunate, but her questionable actions have become a topic of gossip lately," Mara confided. Lauren saw her STD as a way to win Travis back. She felt she had enough men in her life. 6 months after being cured, she devised a plan to reconcile with Travis, though she harbored some resentment toward him for initiating the divorce, which wasn't her original intention. Her plan might have succeeded if other women hadn't pursued Travis. Lauren believed she was unmatched in intimacy and didn't expect Travis to be drawn to other women. "He's a catch, but can't these women see he's not on my level?" she vented to Rose over margaritas at the bar. Rose encouraged Lauren's lifestyle but underestimated Travis's depth, assuming he'd just wallow while his ex had fun. However, Travis's post-divorce life proved intense, surprising Lauren and Rose. Travis was taken aback by the voice on the line, his ex-wife whom he hadn't spoken to in years. His daughters must have given her his number. He didn't prohibit it but saw no need for direct contact. "Hi, Trav," she greeted sweetly. "I think we need to talk." "I thought we agreed to wait until Mal's wedding, but since that hasn't happened yet, maybe we should go back to silence," Travis replied. "You're still in denial about loving me," she insisted. "You think the world revolves around you." "Listen, Trav, I get you're still upset, but I truly care about you. Maybe I should have just kept my affairs secret, but that'd still be wrong. Cheating's cheating, Lauren. Just because you told me doesn't change that. You did it thinking I'd never leave." "Do you think I'm that pathetic?" Travis replied. "You may think you're a perfect 10, even 12, but I've realized I don't need to live in your shadow. These past years have shown me I'm more than just the husband of a beautiful woman." Other women appreciate me emotionally. Why go back to a selfish woman who doesn't respect or love me the same way? After hanging up, Travis turned to the woman beside him. Ready for round two? He asked Sonia, who eventually found her soulmate and married. But Connie and Mara maintained their relationship with Travis. He cared for them both in his own way, but never remarried. They reciprocated his feelings in their unique manner, accepting the arrangement together. Years later, they were invited to Travis's second daughter Michelle's wedding, which irked Lauren as she hadn't invited her boyfriend. She voiced her complaint, but Michelle didn't side with her. After Jackie and her family, Connie and Mara are the closest people to Dad, Michelle explained. They loved him for who he is, prioritizing him over their own needs. You had him, but you left for something more fleeting. Why? Because you were scared of aging and assumed he'd never leave. But he did, for himself. Travis found contentment in his life despite it not being his initial preference. He walked away from what he deemed unacceptable. Lauren's life wasn't one of loneliness and regret either. Being a beautiful woman, she often attracted attention from men, leading to several short-term relationships that never progressed into anything lasting. Reflecting on the past, Lauren acknowledged her remorse for informing her husband of her intention to leave, primarily because she struggled to accept Travis's swift acceptance of her decision. She questioned her judgment, pondering how she could have misjudged the situation so severely. In her eyes, she was a perfect 12 while he was merely a 6. She believed it shouldn't have concluded in this manner.